Hello and welcome into another edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hickson. I am your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI and your host of the Daily Sun Devils Insider Podcast. And I'm so grateful to be joining you once again on this Tuesday afternoon, as I do every day. Um, just wrapped up day one of week three of Arizona State spring football practice, and it was an eventful day. We got to talk to Coach Kenny Dillingham and tight ends coach Jason Mons after practice today, and it was probably the best showing that the offense has had this entire camp so far. A lot of efficiency. Uh, Quarterbacks largely made good decisions, even though the defensive backs really had a great day as well. We will talk about some standouts later on, but I wanted to talk about Jason Mons a little bit. For those of you that aren't as familiar with Mons as other Arizona State coaches such as Hines Ward or Coach Dillingham or Coach Arroyo, Coach Mons is one of the most successful high school coaches in Arizona football history. He won 8 state titles, I believe, at Saguaro before taking the tight ends coach position at Arizona State ahead of the 2023 season. This is now year four with him at the position. Uh, he's one of those assistants that has stayed all 4 years and uh, exceptional coach. You've seen the growth that Shimon Meteor and even Cameron Harpole has made. This room, the tight end room that he has this year, is going to be very, very dynamic. One of the players that I wanted to talk about today is actually AJ Ia. He continues to thoroughly impress as a redshirt freshman. Has an absolute ridiculous catch radius, dynamic athlete in open space. Uh, he is deceptively fluid in his movement. He is way more athletic than you would expect him to be at the stature that he is at around 6'6" and 250. Um, Very, very strong. He's come along in a lot of ways in terms of blocking and other positional play that tight ends must acclimate to outside of pass catching. Um, he's just been a very, very strong player so far in fall camp, and I think that Coach Mons really deserves a lot of credit for the showing so far with the tight end room. And he was talking about how the tight ends like have to know just as much as the quarterbacks know in terms of the semantics of the offense, and how he's been pretty pleased with how these players, most of them are new players or players that played sparingly last year, how they've acclimated. Uh, Landon Myrie got some praise, the freshman tight end out of Ohio. He has come a long way. Coach Mont said that he still has a long ways to go, but he has seen that high end ability as a separator, as a playmaker, and even as a blocker. And I think Arizona State's tight end room is in a great spot. They showed out today. Going to the next part, I really wanted to talk about how Kenny Dillingham said from now on, this is really where we evaluate players, where we rate players, where we start to accumulate our tallies on players to figure out who's going where on the depth chart. And that was probably a good practice for Cutter Boley to have his most impressive showing of spring camp so far. We've kind of discussed this at length uh, quite a bit to this point. It's still, in my opinion, very much Cutter Boley's job to lose. I think there's a reason why he was the first quarterback that they snatched out of the transfer portal. He was the first player that committed to Arizona State once the transfer portal opened. He's got the biggest NIL check, and he's, as I said, he's probably He's probably the best of both worlds when it comes to the talent ceiling and the blend of experience. I mean, he is just a redshirt sophomore. He only has around 10 starts under his belt in college football, but those two combined likely give him an edge. Mikey Keene definitely has the experience edge. He's been more steady throughout fall camp. I mean, through spring camp. He has made some truly incredible throws. He did throw a pick six today, I believe. Yeah, it was to Ashton Stamps, who is another standout. But Cam Dyer has improved day by day. He's very much impressed me. Jake Fetty, he still has a ways to go, but you see the natural talent. You see the moxie. Just needs. It's hard for a true freshman to transition from high school football into college football, especially when Fetty was playing in El Paso, which is, I believe, a lot of the El Paso schools, especially in even Del Valle, um, they play in smaller divisions. So it's the making the jump is tough. I still have no doubt that he's going to be the quarterback of the future eventually, but right now it might be too much of an uphill climb. Um, as far as other players that stood out today, I think that Ashton Stamps, like I said, very, very impressive so far. Had a bizarre year at LSU last year, decides to come to Arizona State, and it looks very much like he's positioning himself to be a starting quarterback in 2026. Like I said, two interceptions on Tuesday, including a pick six that was right in front of me, and just a very, very solid player. Rodney Bimage as well. There's a lot of physicality and violence in the room, and I think that they did a great job of attacking the cornerback position in the portal. I really do. And the last thing that I really wanted to point out in today's show, it's a little bit of a trivial reveal, but after practice, I saw CJ Fight, who has returned to practice, working with the other defensive linemen and really serving as something of a coach in this position. Um, he was really coaching up some guys after practice in terms of technique and what swim move to make, whatever else. And that is phenomenal to me. That Fight is showing that leadership on a consistent basis. Even when he wasn't out there practicing, you could tell his influence was very profound in the defensive line room, especially. But he's really the leader of the defense now. He is the longest tenured player on the defense, I believe, at this point. I think maybe there's a couple of other players that arrived roughly at the same time, like Montana Warren, but CJ Fight is the star of the defense. If you had to choose one, he is the lone returning player that was on the Pat Tillman Leadership Council in 2025. And there are so many things that you can look at in CJ Fight's game and him as a leader, him as a person, and just go, wow. Arizona State is very, very fortunate to get him back for one more season of action. And yeah, Arizona State football continues to see spring practice roll around. There's about 3 weeks left before practices conclude until the summer, which will those will go into full swing in late July, I believe. Until then, so much more to figure out in the weeks ahead and even the months ahead. Right now, it's still very much looking to be a positive outlook for the upcoming season. This team is the most physical, the most athletic, the deepest that we've seen under Kenny Dillingham on paper, and so far it's translating onto the field. But so much more is to be revealed moving forward. And that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning into another edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider podcast. Make sure to check out my work on Arizona State on SI si.com/Arizona State. Until then, thank you for all your support, and I will see you with another episode tomorrow. Thank you so much.